I was wondering why you think it's important for students to learn and practice journalism.
Well, journalism students, that's what they do, so I think that's important. Because I think it's important to be curious about the world. Everybody should be. But one of the great hallmarks of great journalists is curiosity and interest in other things other than themselves. And so I think it's a great way to live your life is you get to ask people questions.
All right. And then I know we're an online publication, so we've been trying to, push the envelope and get new types of interactive tools and everything out to help us tell stories and everything. And so where do you see innovation in technology and, I guess, in high school use going in the future?
Well, I think it's just where you get the news from. I mean, you could maybe Snapchat could be a news vehicle. Everything can be a news. Instagram is news. There's all kinds of ways that you can use all these different tools that we've gotten, especially mobile tools, to create journalism. And I think it'll be interesting to see what develops as it goes forward. I don't know what it's going to be, but Vines are fascinating and all these short videos and this kind of thing. And so you can do news from anywhere now with the tools because they're so inexpensive and so easy to load up onto the internet. And so it's a question of where you blur the lines a great deal as you go forward. Okay.
Thank you so much. Why is it important for high schoolers to practice journalism?
Because you are creating your world, learning to understand it, learning to communicate about it, and this is your window on how to respond to it, how to discuss it, and how to change it.
Well, I started as a high school journalist and wrote my first teen suicide story when I was 17 and became editor of the paper.
Wow.
But I'm going to quote Esther Wojcicki as saying, journalism teaches you to think.
That's right.
And that's the key thing. It teaches you to analyze what's important, how to write it in the stainless steel journalism writing, and put it in the fewest words possible, clearly, non-ambiguously when you can, and convey to other people. And to be a good journalist, I think it comes in a natural curiosity.
That's right.
And then an almost equally as much a natural desire to tell a story, to pass it on to other people.
Interested and interesting.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's my sense of it. And I've spoken to Esther's classes in the past and Paul's, and it's you don't maybe get rich in print journalism. I don't know about blogging either.
But working on it.
You get a lot of richness of experience in it.
I was wondering why you think it's important for high schoolers to teach or to learn journalism and to practice them.
Well, one of the most important things about when you look at it at the base case for what is journalism, journalism is what teaches us about the world. What's going on? How do you make sense of it? And there are certain elements of critical thinking that we all need to learn. How do we tell good evidence from bad evidence? How do we deal with sources where things may be a little ambiguous? How do we explain that? How do we put that in words? And so the thing that I think is very good, even if you don't want to become a journalist, that is a good skill for all people to have, is a sense of how the world around them works. It makes them better citizens because they'll understand their government better. It makes them better able to appreciate other people's experiences, and it makes them able to appreciate both the achievements and the failures of life and learn from both.
Why do you think it's important for student journalists to practice and learn journalism?
I think it's really important for student journalists to learn and study journalism because it's such an important critical skill for society. Without journalists, democracy doesn't function.
And then also, where do you see innovation moving and going forward in terms of like technology and in and in high school, I guess?
Yeah, I think one of the important things is video literacy going forward in high school. So in the same way that when I was in high school, it was really important that everyone learn how to write, I think that 5, 10 years from now, it'll be critically important that everyone knows not only how to critically watch video, but also how to produce it, how to edit, how to shoot, and how to do that skillfully, not just in a sloppy way.
And then also, what do you think the best form of storytelling is? Because I know that a lot of people say that journalism in some forms is a way of storytelling, and I guess what you're doing as well with the Global Lives is also. So what would you say, I guess maybe is the importance of storytelling?
I think that storytelling is a really critical skill because it means understanding how you can talk and present a series of ideas in a way that people really understand a narrative that unfolds, that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and is compelling to audiences. So, storytelling is really about understanding how to create a deep relationship between you as a storyteller and your audience, and I think that's just a really critical skill for journalists.
I was wondering how innovation and technology, where you think innovation in technology and in high school is going.
I think high school students are some of the most innovative people on the planet because they are young enough that they don't really know how things are supposed to be done. And so they're always open to doing something new and different. And so I think I really encourage high school students to be innovative because that's one of the gifts that they have, and I think technology thrives on innovation, and that's why we see so much great talent come out of kids who have just graduated from college or who are even in high school and doing their own little startup.
All right, awesome. And then also, how have you seen Palo Alto change, if at all, since the time that you grew up here?
Well, when I grew up here, Palo Alto seemed much smaller. It was not a big high-tech place. And I remember when I was in high school, we did a story. I went to Gunn, and we did a story about what are things that we can do after midnight in Palo Alto. And there were it was like the Safeway, Denny's. There were not a lot of options. So I think Palo Alto has huge now career options and a lot of interesting culture and a lot of really good social options too.
Thank you. And then any words of wisdom for high schoolers or advice just in general for how to succeed?
I think high schoolers should focus on their studies. Study hard, but study things that you enjoy. And I think, when you're in high school, you still have to take all those subjects, right? Like math and biology and chemistry and physics. So it's good to have that basis. Remember that. Learn everything you can. And when you get to college, you can take more of the classes that you're interested in.